All right, hey everyone, here today for One Daily Thought number 7. So you're here and you've seen the past 6 episodes, made it a week, so congrats. And I've made it a week, which is great. As noted yesterday, we talked about how smart technology is influencing individuals in pretty profound ways. But I think, as I mentioned at the end of yesterday's episode, at a cultural scale, it's actually much easier to understand what effect smart technology is having, because you don't have all the nuance of how much individuals vary, and a lot of the issues of looking at the effect on one person and trying to generalize that. So I want to start with sort of 3 statements that I would argue are basically truisms. One, that access to information is free or low cost and is universally present. 2, that ongoing dialogues can be held on any worldwide topic. And 3, that both those 2 points, 1 and 2, are basically both instantly accessible and basically omnipresent. And you can actually wrap all 3 of these up pretty much into something like Twitter, where obviously they have the dialogue going, and it's obviously both instant and can be accessed anywhere or through any phone or computer. And the information is also kind of there or linked from there to other places on the internet. So let's take these 3 things together. And I think stating those that way, at least for me, highlights how revolutionary smart technology, the internet, and social media are. And it's no wonder, and I've written about this in another source, which is linked to in the article, about how the world is feeling more and more unstable and uncertain as a result. And you can actually see this in Google search trend data. The volume of searches for terms like overwhelmed, anxious, are increasing at a very quick rate, even relative to the overall search volume. So that's kind of, I think, when you look at the effect of technology in society, you have to start with that. And I don't think any of that is actually at all controversial or hard to argue with. But I think what that means is actually then pretty profound and something that I don't know that we're really thinking about that much. And so the first thing that to me comes out of that is that culture will become the king, is the phrase that I used, and I apologize if that is gender specific, but we're going to roll with it. In a world without barriers to any discourse or anything like that, our collective cultures are going to basically decide what rises and falls. And especially in a world where the economy is increasingly being driven by attention. And you can see this like anything that's ad driven. So Facebook, any news or media sites, the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, all of these are basically devices that capture your attention and then need a way to monetize that. So 50 years ago, right, like economics kind of led culture, and everyone's first priority was just, how do I make enough money to put food on the table, and I'll worry about culture on the side. I think now it's unclear, and based on these trends, I think culture is going to actually supplant economics and take a reign at the top of basically determining economics and determining pretty much everything, right? And we'll talk about what that means for an individual more next time, because it's, I think, quite profound. But the second point that I want to make is that the pace of our cultural change is accelerating and will continue to accelerate. And I think, again, this shouldn't be surprising, since one of our postulates was that discourse is instant and omnipresent. But we're seeing this firsthand, that the culture is moving. I think relatedly that it will change. The rate of change will accelerate. It will become inherently more unpredictable and more potentially volatile. That one I think is up for debate, but will become more unpredictable as a result. And I think the example I throw out there to you or to literally anyone on this planet is like, imagine telling the 2010 version yourself or you 10 years ago about this guy, President Donald Trump, who's going to talk like this all the time, use his hands, say big words, make things really offensive. Like, no one you wouldn't have believed yourself. You would have been checked into an insane asylum probably. So that just goes to show you how quickly culture can change and accelerate. And I have no idea who or what is going to be president in 10 years, and neither do you. So I think it's, in that case, again, kind of a new type of world that we're living in. So the last point I'll mention on this, though, is that this cultural force has also been democratized. And you can see this by people now on various social media sites who have built up incredible followings and have huge influences who have not been part of any sort of mainstream or institutional structure, and actually fight against it. And that's one example, but I think more generally the statement will hold that there is not going to really ever again be one single person or government or leader who can shepherd our culture in a certain direction. And that's for better or for worse. Because we've obviously seen people like Hitler and others who've guided cultures in really bad directions, and similarly we've seen people who've done it for the better. Now this force is much more democratized. And so we'll get into more about what that means for an individual next time, but I think the immediate thought that it brings to my mind is that the responsibility is on the individual, and it's a much larger responsibility than we've ever had before to share ideas responsibly and to do your research and to try to understand the potential implications of even just your effect on a small following, but certainly your effect as your following increases. So that's all for today, and again, we'll talk more about what this all means for the individual next time. So thanks, and see you later.